Hello and welcome to the introduction to TradingView. In this lesson we're going to explore what TradingView is, its key features and why it's a fantastic platform for traders and investors of all levels. TradingView is a powerful web-based platform that provides comprehensive tools for charting, analyzing and trading financial markets. So whether you're in stocks, forex, cryptocurrencies, commodities or even bonds, TradingView has you covered. Now, one of the standout features of TradingView is its user-friendly interface. It's designed to be intuitive, making it accessible for beginners while still offering the depth and functionality required by more experienced traders. TradingView's charts are second to none. You can customize them extensively from the type of chart to the time intervals. You can easily switch between line, bar and candlestick charts and can zoom into minute-by-minute data or zoom out to look at years of price history. Now, another key feature is the wide range of technical analysis tools available, from moving averages and Bollinger Bands to more complex ones like MACD and RSI. Plus you can add drawing tools like trend lines, Fibonacci retracements and many more to your charts, helping you make informed trading decisions. TradingView also excels in its social aspect. The platform allows you to share your ideas and analysis with communities of traders from all around the world. And you can follow other traders, comment on their ideas, and even engage in discussions. Now, this community-driven approach can provide valuable insights and can also foster a collaborative learning environment. One unique feature of TradingView is its PineScript language. It allows you to create custom indicators and strategies. If you have some programming knowledge, you can use PineScript to backtest your trading strategies right on the platform. Now, for those to transition from analysis to actual trading, TradingView also offers you integration with various brokerage accounts. This means you can place trades directly from the TradingView platform and therefore streamlining your trading process. Now, creating an account on TradingView is also pretty straightforward and most important of all, it's also free. There are also premium account options that can unlock additional features, but for beginners the free account is more than sufficient to get started. But if you want to make use of more advanced features or have the need for more functions, then you can choose between one of these plans. And there are also plans for professional traders, as you can see over here. Now, let's start by creating a free TradingView account and then do a very extensive walkthrough of one of the most used functionalities on this platform, the SuperChart. To create an account, click on the Get Started button that you see on the top right of the screen. This will bring you to the products page again. Then click on the Sign Up button you see over here. Now, there are a few options to sign up, as you can see. For example, you can sign up and create a TradingView account with your Google account. Or if you use or prefer other platforms, you can also create an account that is linked to those ones, like Facebook, X, Yahoo, Apple or LinkedIn. There's also the classic email option to make an account with. And I will choose that option for this demonstration. Enter your email address and a strong password that you want to use for the account. You might have to solve a CAPTCHA like I have to do here. And if you have passed the CAPTCHA, then you can click on the Create an Account button. After a few moments you will receive a confirmation email on the address you entered. And in that email is a button or link that you have to click to enable the account. This will bring you to this TradingView page where you can choose a username. So let me choose a original name here. And I will not check the marketing email option because I do not want to get spammed all the time. But I will have to check the Agreement of Terms checkbox, and I will do this without reading this since it is only a demonstration, but you should definitely read these documents before proceeding. Now, to check on which plan you are currently at, click on the profile picture and choose Account and Billing, and if you scroll a little bit down you will see your current plan. And this is how you sign up for TradingView. Now, signing up with Google, Facebook and the other authentication providers might be different from what you've seen here, but it's all pretty clear on what you should do to get a TradingView account. Now, there is one thing we have to do before we can actually start to run over all the different functionalities in TradingView, and that is to do a subscriber classification. Here you declare that you are a non-professional or a professional trader. Now, what the exact differences make between a professional and non-professional, you can read over here. I will click on the non-professional subscriber and click confirm. And now we are completely done with this part. We can continue with our discovery of the complete TradingView platform. If you have an account on TradingView and you are logged in, then TradingView presents you the market summary page. This page has lots of information about all the market that TradingView provides, like the major indices, stocks, ETFs, crypto, forex, futures and bonds. Let me scroll down the page to give you an impression of what you can expect per category. The first thing you see here is the chart of the highlighted market, to give you a general overview of its performance. There are multiple chart options here with these buttons, and I will show you a little bit later what they do. Here is the Editor's Pick section, where TradingView editors promote the content they think is most valuable to users. They pick for each of these categories you see here, like trade ideas, educationals, videos and interesting Pine script. And up until here, the information is mostly about the category you selected above, but below these editor's picks, this page gets more generic, which means that for each initial category selected, this will be the same content. You can see also up here that there are links for each of these sections below. So if I click on these, the page will scroll down to each of these particular sections. These are the top stories that are posted on TradingView by the other users, and these are the top stories over the complete TradingView platform. You can also click on these links to get to the main page of each section, because what you see here is actually a summary. Now scrolling down a little bit further, you see the US stocks section of the page. And notice here that US stocks has turned blue, so it indicates that you are on this section of the page. Then there are some sections within this subject, like community trends, highest volume stocks, stocks that are very volatile, gainers and losers section, and some important news within this category. Now for each category, this is mostly the same, so I can click on the links above to quickly move to these sections on the page. Now I consider this page a startup page to get an overall feeling on market sentiment, and this way I get a sense of direction for the upcoming day. Let's continue with the overview page of a specific symbol. In this part I will walk you through the symbol overview page. For example, if I want to get more information on Bitcoin, then I click on the crypto section here and click on Bitcoin. And for other symbols I can also click on the search bar or press Ctrl K. Now enter the symbol and maybe shorten the selection by clicking the marker too and click on See Overview. And this will bring me to the same page. So now we're on the symbol information page of Bitcoin. First of all, this is the breadcrumb to this page, from the markets to cryptocurrencies and to Bitcoin itself. Now on the Bitcoin logo here, there is a position indicator of the asset on the total market based on market capitalization. Then there is a pull down menu where you can find more information about the asset and where it is traded or where derivatives are traded. And also each information page might look the same, but actually they are a little bit different and sometimes have other information because not every traded asset has exactly the same information. But TradingView has covered this well, I think. Okay, now let's open the watch list on the right, because if I select another symbol here, it causes the window right below to change to the specific live information of that symbol. Now let's close this again to get more real estate and proceed with the status indicators. This green dot here indicates that the market is open for trading of this symbol. Now if I select another symbol that is not currently traded, like a Tesla here, you can see other icons here. And clicking here on each of these status markers also gives you some information. Here the market is closed and it's primary listing, and this is the source of the data. Okay, let's now get back to Bitcoin again to show more of this page. Now of course, this is the current price of the symbol at the time that is noted below the price, together with the difference in price from last day and in percentages. Now let's scroll a little bit more down to see the chart. And here is the current price chart over the last day. You can switch the time frames of the chart with these buttons below. And with these buttons you can switch between price and market cap of the symbol. And this opens a new page where you can find the HTML code for placing this chart on your web page. And I will show you later how you can do this. These two buttons make the chart switch between a line and candlestick chart. And with this button you can create a chart snapshot so that you can share this on your social media or as a reference in your trading log, for example. And this last button opens the chart in the SuperChart view. Now let's get back, and scrolling down a little bit further, we can see some global information about the asset. In this case the market cap, fully diluted market cap, a volume divided by market cap indicator, market high, the supply, max supply and total supply. Each data point has a small icon with a question mark inside for more information about the data. Let's get down a little bit more. Then there is a social section, and this contains ideas and opinions from other TradingView users. And here is some general news about the class of the asset, followed by some technical indicators that show market sentiment and global advice that you can follow or ignore. Here is the Sparks section, and Sparks are intended to give you ideas or inspiration to investigate other things or other aspects of the asset class, but more on that later. And again, you can click on each of these headers to go to the specific TradingView page that contains much more information that you see here. Now, we're almost there, so stick with me. Here are some more related symbols within the asset class that might interest you. And next a FAQ part about the Bitcoin in this case, and if you click on each of these pluses, it shows you the answer. And finally, we're at the end of this page. And here it contains marketing talk and a footer to general TradingView information, or other sections on the website like a contact, help and more stuff. Now let me open another information page from a company, this time Tesla, and see which differences there are. Now here is the overview page of Tesla, and if I scroll down you can see the main differences, like a breaking news part, earnings, some key stats and company information, some nice fancy financial charts, and from that section on the social part, news, market sentiment indicators, some brokers here that you can use, Sparks and other familiar stuff. Now I almost forgot that there are other tabs within this page that give you even more information about the symbol. So let's go over these two. First go to the top of the screen and then let's open the financials first. In this case the financials tab within the symbol page is loaded with all kinds of company information like key facts, ownership, valuation, growth and profitability, revenue estimates, dividends and financial health. Now back to the top we again have some subsections within this tab like company statements, statistics, dividends if they were given, and earnings and revenue. So all the information a fundamental analyst needs to evaluate a company and to see if investments could be made. Then there is the News tab, which contains all the information and news chunk he needs about this company. The Ideas tab contains the community ideas and analysis of the Tesla stock in this case. And there is also a tab with a heap of all kinds of indicators that gives you information that might help you even more in your decision-making process. And finally there is a super interesting forecast view that contains possible price targets, analyst ratings, earnings and revenue forecasts, and again a FAQ section. Now again, this information might differ from asset to asset and from class to class, but as you can see, it is completely loaded with useful information that you can use with your trading decisions. Let's go over to the next part. And this is the SuperCharts function. And I will walk you through each and every option we have over there. Let me open Bitcoin again with the help of the search bar or Ctrl K and open the chart. I'll go over this screen from top left to right, then down the sidebar, then I'll show you the bottom bar, the left bar with the drawing tools, and finally I'll show you all the options you have on the main chart. So let's get ready because there is a lot of ground to cover. The first stop on our tour is the user menu in the top bar. This brings us already with a whole bunch of options, and these options take us to multiple sections within TradingView. The first item here is a link to your personal account information. Here you can see your current plan. In my case, I make use of the Plus plan. The profile settings and account and billing menu items take us to the same page but to different sections within this page. In the profile you have access to an overview of your ideas, publications, scripts and social followers. And each tab has another row of options within this tab to make sub-selections of all your content. The profile settings menu will bring you to the settings tab. Here you can adjust your public information like your username, avatar and links to your other social platforms and some private details. You can also set your email, password and two-factor authentication and more security settings here. And I do recommend setting as much security settings as possible here to protect your account. Now below the settings tab there is another row of options, and if you click on the menu for account and billing here, then you end up on the account and billing tab here. This page contains all the information about your purchases and plans you have on the platform. It also contains the subscriber classification we selected earlier when we created the TradingView account. Let's get back to the SuperChart again and explore the other menu items. In my case I have two referral links that I can use for referring TradingView to new users. This referral works both ways. You receive a $15 bonus after you have subscribed and purchased a subscription through my referral link, and I also receive a bonus. All amounts are visible on the TradingView site about what referrals receive, so it's fully transparent. So now that we have this section cleared, let's continue with the rest of the menu. The Help Center gives access to an excellent source of knowledge and information on the TradingView platform. It provides information about everything you need, as you can see, from billing to Pine scripts to social and profile settings. What's also nice about this is that you can request a new feature and you can also see the server status page from here. Then we have the notifications, and this option brings you to the system messages, followers, comments, mentions and other social messages from other platform users. The What's New item opens a sidebar here with messages from the TradingView developers about new features that have arrived to the platform. And now we arrive at the menu item a lot of people enjoy, and that is the dark mode. Flipping this switch turns the platform colors to dark. Then is the option here to show or hide the drawing panel on the main chart. And you can also switch the interface to your own preferred language instead of the default English here. Then we can open the information about keyboard shortcuts. I myself use some of these already, like the slash for accessing the indicators or just entering the symbol or time frame in the main chart, but there are loads of other shortcuts that can improve your workflow on the system. Then there is a link to download the TradingView platform software to the desktop. This software can be downloaded for Windows, Mac and even Linux. And finally we have the option here to sign out of the platform. The second option here is the symbol search. You can click on the symbol to find and open another symbol chart. But as we just discovered, you can also just type in the symbol in the main screen to open it on the chart. Next is the plus icon, or what they call the compare or add symbol. With this option you can add another symbol to the chart so that you can compare their performances. These additional charts will appear as line charts. After you are finished comparing, you can remove these additional line charts by clicking on the X after their indicators on the main chart. Now the next option on the top bar is the time frame interval you can choose to show on the chart. Pressing the comma will open the interval section box too. And just pressing a number is also a shortcut to this option. This way you can easily switch between multiple time frames here, like 1 minute, 5 minutes or 1 day, or even more exotic intervals like ranges. And you can even create your own custom interval if you have a specific wish about it, like the 7-minute interval as an example. Now the next option here on the list is the candles selection, and within this option you can choose to change the way the candles look on the chart. You can make them bars or hollow candles or lines with markers, Heiken-Ashi and all other types you see over here. Now recently TradingView added some other types of candlesticks over here, but these candlesticks are only available for people with premium subscriptions or higher. Then there is the Indicators, Metrics and Strategies button. This menu gives you the option to add additional indicators or strategies to your chart layout. These can be selected favorite indicators or personal indicators you have built and shared or not shared. Technical indicators, which are subdivided in indicators, strategies, profiles and patterns. Financials, although they are not available for Bitcoin in this case, and indicators from the community. Next to this indicator button there is also a small arrow down that gives you direct access to your favorite indicators, so you don't have to open the menu all the time. Now if you have created a certain layout on the chart with a specific symbol, time frame and certain indicator set, then you can save this layout to the Indicators Templates menu. From this item you can open your favorite chart layouts for a quick analysis, or want to quickly switch to other symbols. The amount you can save here is also dependent on the plan you use. There are some default templates already that you can use, like the Bill Williams 3 lines, displaced EMA or oscillators, but I'm not using these templates very much. However, they can act as a starting point or as an inspiration. The Alerts button, right of the indicator templates, give us the opportunity to create specific alerts that warn us if certain conditions are met. The example here shows that you can create an alert when the price crosses a certain price level, and the alert can be sent once or every time this happens until an expiration date. You can also set the name and message and also the way you want to get notified about this event. Now later I will go deeper into the alerts functionality, but for now it's enough that you know that this exists. The bar replay makes you able to do replays of the chart. And this is a great tool to help you manually backtest without looking into the future. Hence, not giving you look ahead bias because those candles are hidden from the chart. You can select a certain bar, date or a random bar, which has been recently added as a new option. And that last option makes it great for backtesting analysis in combination with the sell and buy buttons on the right, because you don't know on which bar you end up, making it extra difficult for you to tell the future. So if you have a manual trading strategy and you want to backtest this, then this function could be a great tool to help you find if the strategy has an edge. And it is also a nice function to create YouTube intros and B-roll for your video. These two buttons are the undo and redo buttons, and they are also accessible with Ctrl Z and Ctrl Y. And a little bit further to the right here is the screen layouts option. Here you can select how many additional charts you can show on your screen and how the chart layout will look. It is also a great feature that is dependent on the plan you use. In my case I have 4 screens, but if I want to use more, then I'll have to pay for it. So more screens mean higher plans. You can also choose how to sync these layouts. For example, by symbol, by interval, by the crosshair on the screen, by time or by date range. These screens can show different layouts, and you can also select these layouts if you have other indicator templates. Now all these changes are currently saved under the default layout. But if you have an idea to create a second view with another layout, other indicators, intervals and more, then it could be a good idea to create a complete new layout and customize that to other pairs. Other options within this layout menu include sharing the chart with a link to the community or to specific people, renaming, making a copy of the layout. We can export the chart data to CSV, which is a higher plan feature by the way, and we can also switch between layouts. A keyboard shortcut for this is also pressing the dot on your keyboard. Next to the layout button we find the quick search icon, which is also accessible if we click Ctrl K on our keyboard. If you don't know where a specific setting is, or drawing or tool or whatever, then you can use this keyword search to find the functionality. So this is actually a help function on steroids, where we can quickly find a way to do certain things within TradingView. Right of the quick search function there are the chart settings. Clicking this button will open a new menu screen here, where we can find many options to adjust all of the settings on the chart. And you will see me opening this menu item many times in the coming walkthrough, but I will go over it in detail later in this video. The next option here is the full screen mode, and it does exactly what it says. It opens the screen in full screen view. And with this little camera button we can take a snapshot of the current chart. These snapshots can be shared on your social media or added to your trading log if you want. The copy link option here creates an online snapshot of the current chart that you can share with other users or add to an email as a link to this chart. And it is also accessible by anonymous users that do not have a TradingView account. The last option on the top bar here is the publish button. Pressing this button gives you access to the social aspects of TradingView. For example, with the first option you can publish your trading idea to your followers or the general audience. And there is also an option to create a video of your idea, or create a post in a feed that you are a member of, but more about that later. The next bar to investigate is the right sidebar. So now let's go over this bar to see what items it contains. The first thing I'll open is the watch list. This contains all the symbols you want to keep together. For example, I have watch lists that contain red, orange and purple marked symbols. I have lists with indexes, economy, fundamentals and crypto. And I can also create lists and import lists from other people that have exported them. With the plus icon I can add a new symbol to the list. And I can also switch between the list view and an advanced view of this list. This advanced view opens a panel that shows extensive information about all the symbols you gathered in this list. In this overview you can make different overviews of the performances of the saved assets. And you can also edit or create different overviews of the list itself or export it to share with other users. These different overviews do not break your initially created sublists, so it is an ideal tool to see the symbols in different breakdowns. The ellipses or 3 dots here will again provide you with a menu with different options here. First of all, you can create a copy of the list so that it can act as a baseline to build on further. You can rename or clear the list, add sections to that so you can divide your symbols in clear segments, and switch between table or list view. And in table view you can determine which columns you want to see, just the logo or the symbol, or choose between ticker and description. Furthermore, you can close these subsections for a clean view of the list. Below the watch list there is an information pane that contains the current open symbols, assets, performance and other information. So depending on the system you have opened, you will see lots of information, from price information to key stats, overall performances over different periods, technical information about the asset and profile information. Now if I open Tesla, you will see different information that we saw earlier on the symbol summary page, but now here in compressed form. If I want to quickly return back to the previous symbol, I can use Ctrl Z and switch back to Bitcoin again to show you some more options in this panel. For example, you can switch to the page that contains the technicals about the symbol, the same overview we have seen earlier. We can also add a personal note to this asset to help us remind a decision or add some information to make use of in the future. If you click on the three dots on the right, sometimes also called the ellipsis or the settings menu, you will get a list of information choices you can select or deselect. So for those who want to prevent an information overload and only want to see the necessary information, you can select or deselect your choices here. The next button on the sidebar gives access to the configured alerts and the alerts log. With the plus icon we can create a new alert, and with the three dots over here we can change the way this display shows the already configured alerts. The alerts log will show the logs of the earlier alerts, and the ellipsis in this section also gives access to the way the information of these logs will appear. The next item on this right bar is a switch between the objects tree and the data window. The object tree shows all the items on the main screen in the list. This way you can see which items are used on the chart. Even the items that you do not currently see on the screen right now, like drawn lines, texts, emojis and other items on the complete chart. You can also add some of these items in a group so that you can show or hide the group with one click. With this next icon here with the two triangles, you can place indicators above or below the main screen in a separate pane. But this is only possible with indicators. And in this last folder-like icon, it shows you all the drawings that are on the chart. So if I open this new pane, then you see that I have multiple charts that contain different drawings, indicators, texts and other chart items. The data window shows the data points of the selected candles, indicators and chart items as long as they are data driven. Let's proceed with the next icon in the bar, and that is this flame icon, or hotlist as TradingView calls it. This hotlist can be manipulated to show you all the lists with symbols that you think are valuable for having insights in market sentiment. For each of these three sections you can choose your own preferred hotlist, and you can also create a separate watch list of these. The only thing here is that these hotlists only consist of the major stock indices, but maybe this will change in the future. The light bulb on this bar contains all your saved ideas, the ideas that are private but also your public ideas. With the plus icon you can publish a new idea based on the current open chart and its indicators. So this way you can publish your fresh ideas to the world and might also get feedback on your idea from other community members. The menu item behind the ellipsis provides you with the tools to select and sort the ideas you want to see here. Then come the community chats and private chats. You can compare this a little bit with the chat room, IRC, Telegram messages or Reddit posts. It is another quick entrance to the community to ventilate your current ideas on the market or respond to other people's messages. Below that window are the talks, and these are actually the channels around the topics that you are interested in. If you click on another channel, then the conversation above changes to those of that channel. Again, the menu behind the settings here show a range of options on how to show the channel and the messages that arrive in it. You can go over all these options by yourself later after you have finished this video to configure this to your own preferred settings. The next icon on the bar is also a light bulb, but it is lit or shaking or something like that. But clicking on this icon shows the ideas stream in the sidebar. This is again a social item on the platform, but contains items with more in-depth analysis and charts. And the purpose of the ideas here is to get you inspired or informed about the trading ideas of other TradingView users. And they could provide you with insights and inspiration that you previously didn't have. And in the ellipsis here you can configure which type of messages you will see in this pane. The For You section contains somewhat arbitrarily chosen content by the platform based on your preferences. And the Following section shows only the ideas of the author that you explicitly follow. The next item here is the notification bell. It is still visible here on this location in the sidebar, but if I click on it, then it says that it has been moved to the menu top left above. And this is also a great example of the ever-changing layout of TradingView. Now I will continue with the calendar icon that is down below. As with many functions on the platform, this little icon hides great functionality that many can appreciate. Clicking on the calendar shows you all the upcoming events that might influence the market in the coming days, like economic events, earnings reports, revenue dividend payouts and much more. Clicking on any item in this list will show you even more information about the event. In this case you can also open the relevant chart and even can add this date to your agenda. So now that you know this, you never have an excuse again that you missed certain market news. The final icon on this bar is the Help Center. It is again an excellent source of knowledge about the complete TradingView platform. You can drill down to information on chart information, indicators, trading, Pine script and much more. So if this video still does not provide you with enough information about the platform, then chances are that you will find this information within the Help Center. Now we arrive at our next stop in this superchart, the bottom bar. I'll walk over this from left to right. And I'll start with opening the screener. A screener is an overview of categories of assets like crypto, stock and forex. It provides a one-glance view of the assets and their performances in that market so that you can immediately tell what the current sentiment is. Let me show you each button in this bar and what it does. The first button gives you the option to switch between automatic updates or manual updates of the information in the screener. The second button gives you the option to open different types of overview with different columns in this pane. And you also have the option to add these as favorite to the bar. The third tiny button here gives you the chance to add or remove other information columns to the current view. So this way you can optimize the information to your own needs. For each view you can select different columns, but you can also create a totally different overview with your preferred columns and save this with the Save Column As button left. Then there are the buttons that give you direct access to your preferred favorite overviews here. At the right side here you have a button that enables you to create a screener snapshot to a CSV file, so that you can save it or share it with other people. Then here is the time interval of the screener, and with this you can determine the refresh rate of the information below. The button next to the time interval gives you the option to show the price in its symbol currency or in the market currency, here US dollars. Then there is another choice button that gives you access to different screens of the market, like top gainers, losers, general overview, 52-week highs or lows, and more if you save this to a customized screen. And finally we get to the filter button, which gives you an enormous amount of filters and customizations so that you can build your own screener. To go over each of these options would make this video go into too much detail here, so I recommend you to go over all these options in your own time and play with them to see what they can do. Now there are a couple of last things about the screener I want to show you. You also have the option to filter on each column or to add or remove columns here. And finally you can select multiple symbols in the list. Then right click on them and finally flag them, or add them to a watch list, or use the new function here and select them to compare. This last new function adds the symbols as a line chart to the main chart that you have already open. And this way you can directly see how their performances look on the chart. The next major stop on this bar is the Pine editor. PineScript is a whole different beast on this platform, and I will only mention the options in this screen here because this is not a Pine course. But to give you a slight preview on how it looks in this editor, I will open the PineScript of the colored moving average indicator in this case, and to do this I have to select the main chart, click slash to open the indicators window, and then search for moving average. You can see here after the amount of users 2 accolades, and I click on this, it will open the source code in the editor. The orange bar here clearly shows us immediately that this is a read-only script, and I can create a working copy to make it a personal script, so that I can adjust it with my own code if I want to. Now if I did this, then I could alter the name here as well. I can also remove or add the script here to my favorites by clicking on the star icon. Now if this is your own code and you have multiple iterations of it, you can also go back to earlier versions like in a good version control system. With open, I can also open the code, and there are multiple ways to open the indicator code here. Next, if I'm done with scripting or I want to try out my new script, I can also add the script to the chart to see if it works as intended with the Add to Chart button. The other options here are the Apply to Entire Layout and Enable Profiler mode. These two options are grayed out here because the script is not in edit mode. And these functions are also mostly used for more heavy Pine scripting and testing on the performances of the scripts. Now clicking here on the barely visible help icon gives you also more information about this function if you really want to learn more about it. Right next to this button is the Publish Indicator button. And with this button you can publish your code to the TradingView community so that others can make use of your hard work on your new or adjusted indicator. Publishing your indicator to the public also has to adhere to some house rules, otherwise it will not be published. If you do not follow these rules, then moderators will inform you about the violations, like the example here. This way the platform will not be polluted by stuff that does not add something valuable to it, and rightfully so. Now finally, the ellipsis here is the settings button that gives you access to a menu where you can adjust some settings, open the editor in a new tab or window, and points you to resources for Pine script creation, as you can see here. The next item on the bottom bar is the strategy tester. And with a strategy tester and an actual strategy that you created with the Pine editor, you can test the profitability of your trading idea. Let me first open the Bollinger Band strategy in this example, and see how it would perform on this selected asset and visible time range. We have several options to our disposal to analyze this strategy. First of all, there is this small cog here that opens up the settings window. Now, these options can be different for each individual strategy, but overall they are as follows. The first tab contains the variables of the indicators this strategy is built on. For this strategy, these variables are only the length and multiplier of the Bollinger Band. The Properties tab gives you control over the base parameters of the strategy, like initial capital, currency, order size, pyramiding, commissions and much more to take into account of your hypothetical trading. Then there is the style on the visibility of the strategy, and finally the visibility of the strategy on the time frame of choice here. If you have set all these parameters, you can also save these to the indicator as personal settings, and you do not have to be scared that you lose these if you change to another strategy. Setting these parameters will also immediately propagate through the strategy's performance window, and this way you can see immediately what the impact is of these settings on the strategy. The second item in this bar here is setting alerts. If your strategy and its settings seem to be profitable, you can directly put this into action and make TradingView alert you when a strategy condition appears. This deep backtesting switch is a premium feature which makes it possible to calculate the strategy on all historical data on any date, available on the selected symbol, and not only those loaded in the chart like the default. So if you only want to fully backtest this strategy over all historic data, then you'll have to pay for it. More information is available in the help section about this. And since I'm not a premium user, I unfortunately cannot show this feature at the moment, but perhaps I can in the future. The next row contains different overviews of the strategy's performance. Let me add more data to view how much data we can get to test the strategy's performance. Let's say that I use the 1 day time frame and use as much data as I can get on the screen. The graphical overview visually shows you the performance of the strategy here. In this case it is a losing strategy, but that's not what I'm concentrating on, it's more about the information on the screen here. The next step in this view gives us an overview of the strategy's performance, like profits, losses, max run up and drawdown, and ratios like Shortina and Sharp, and much more information. So this overview gives a great insight into the performance of a trading strategy. The list of trades shows us the actual trades itself with the performance of each of these trades. And we can also see where the first trade starts over the complete dataset we managed to get. If I would test this strategy on the 4-hour time frame, and that's exactly where this dataset started. So we have some flexibility in the size of the dataset we can use for backtesting, but it's only depending on the time frame we use, and also has influence on the strategy's performance. Now, to get to the actual trade in this chart, there is a very small crosshair before each trade entry or exit, and clicking on this crosshair brings us to the actual entry in the chart itself. So we do not have to visually search for it, but we can go directly to the chart and see where the trade happened. The last information sheet in this strategy tester is the Properties tab, and this gives an overview of the settings of this strategy we have set in the beginning of this test. So if I wanted to save these parameters in a document or so, I could make a screen capture and save it there. And below the chart there are also some options to change the information in the graph. I can show or hide the equity curve or drawdown bars, and I can also compare the performance of the strategy against a buy and hold strategy by activating the buy and hold equity curve. And finally I can switch between absolute amounts in the traded currency or in percentages. Our final stop in the bottom bar is the trading panel. Here you can connect TradingView to different brokers. This way you can directly trade from the TradingView platform to your broker account. You can also do paper trading to test out your own trading strategy in a forward test or just for fun. But I will not show you how to paper trade or connect to a broker at this moment, but I will come back later to this after I have finished this tour on the main SuperCharts interface. Now let me collapse this panel and move to the next bar. Now we arrive at the left sidebar. This bar contains all the tools for drawing on the chart. Let's go over it from top to bottom and see what it has in store for us. The first option here gives us a selection of mouse pointers we can use. There is also an eraser function for erasing drawings or indicators with the help of your mouse. The next button here gives us access to the trendline tools. And as the name suggests, these are all the tools to draw lines, channels and pitchforks on the chart. You can also see here that some of these lines have shortcuts and some of them have a star. The star marks these lines as favorites, and these show up in the favorites bar that you can show or hide with the star icon below. The following icon gives access to the available Gann and Fibonacci tools. Behind the Patterns button you will find tools that help you identify candlestick patterns on the chart, like triangle patterns, Elliott waves and cycles. And below that are the tools that help you do measurements, add bar projections, and also tools that help you identify trade entries, stop losses, and take profits. If I go one button below that, then we will get to the geometric shapes for the more artistic side of chart drawing, like brushes and highlighters, adding different kinds of shapes, and also arrows to mark certain points on the chart. Below that, there are multiple tools that help you add additional information with text and other annotation tools, or even add images and ideas to the chart. And below that, we can get really creative with emojis, stickers, and icons. These are nice to add some emotion to the charts for those who cannot express their feelings in words. The measure button is a direct link to a function that, as the name implies, measures distances between 2 points. And with this you can determine the distance in time between candles, but also the distances between tops and bottoms on a price chart. The zoom button gives you the ability to directly zoom to a selection you make on the chart. And zoom out zooms the chart out to the previous zoom level or higher. If you select one of these two magnets, then your cursor will automatically drawn to a certain points within the chart. For example, the candle open, high, low or close point. The strong magnet pulls the drawing point to chart values regardless of the distance between your mouse pointer and the chart values. And the weak magnet pulls the drawing point to chart values when you are drawing near them. Normally every time you are finished drawing, the cursor returns to the standard crosshair mode. But if you want to keep on drawing without returning back to normal cursor mode, then click on the Stay in Drawing mode. Now you can draw or pull lines on the chart without exiting the draw mode. With the hide options you can determine what you will see on the chart. You can hide the drawings or only the indicators, or the positions and orders. But you can also hide everything without losing the actual drawings. This makes you able to show the chart temporarily without all this clutter and then return back to the cluttered chart. This next sync drawing option has a relation with the layout options we walked through earlier. And with the first option you can choose to sync the drawings on the chart within the same layout. But you can also choose to sync new drawings between different layouts of the same symbol. The final option here is the recycle bin. Here you have different options to remove drawings, indicators or both. But if you want to be more granular with your removals, then use the object tree because that gives you much more control with deleting items. And again we have the show favorites toolbar that shows the pre-selected drawing items in a shortcut bar that you can put all over your chart. And you can add the drawing tools to the favorites toolbar by clicking on the star button. Whoa, wow! Now, we have walked through all the bars at the side of the main chart, and that was already a lot of information to digest. But we're not finished yet. Let's quickly go ahead, because there are a lot of neat options and functionalities to discover. Let's begin by making this chart as large as possible on your screen with the Shift F function, and then discover the symbol menu first. The symbol menu exists in this case of the symbol and the quote pair it's traded with, and then the exchange where this specific symbol is traded on. Then there is a small flag that you can use to mark the symbol with a color. And next to the flag is the ellipsis that gives you access to a whole range of settings for this symbol. The first option here is to add an alert, and the default alert is the crossing of the price above or below a certain value. If that happens, a notification of choice will be sent, but more on that later. The next option here in this menu is to add an indicator or strategy to the chart. And this is the same as pressing the slash button or using the indicators menu in the top bar. The following item here is the trade option. And with this you can create a new trade order if you would have an exchange configured. The other option here is to change the trading settings, which opens the chart settings window on the trading menu. And I will go over all these settings on a later moment. The security info menu item opens a new window with the information about the symbol, as you can see here. It also has some information about the hours this asset can be traded on. And then this next item copies the current price to memory so that you can paste it elsewhere on the chart or in your trading log. And there is also a paste option, but for some reason my clipboard API is not supported. But I can paste this just by pressing Ctrl V. With visual order you can manipulate the position of the candlesticks or indicators to the front or the back of other items, like drawings. You can also move indicators or candlesticks from the main window to a separate pane above or below the current chart in this option, just to separate the candlesticks from the indicators. Let me demonstrate this quickly by using the moving average. I can put it in a new pane above, but I can also put it back in its original pane again. If in this case I do not want to share this scale between the moving average and the candlesticks, I can also separate the scales of these chart items with this pin to new right scale option. And if I don't like it if the scale is sitting at the right side of the chart, then I can also move it from the right side to the left side with this menu option, pin to new left scale. Now these options and how it looks can be different here from indicator to indicator, because they can all use different scales. So in these cases you'll have to play with the layout a little bit to make the layout to your own preference. With the eye here you can hide the bars from the chart. The symbol will then get an indicator that it has been hidden, and by clicking on this eye icon the candlesticks will appear again. If you have watch list configured or want to add the symbol to a new watch list, then use this menu item over here. This will add the symbol to the chosen list. You can also add a note to the symbol with this menu option, and these notes will end up here in the lower right corner of the watch list pane. I can also attach a chart snapshot to this note for more information on the situation in which I added this note. Then we'll have our final menu item, and that is the chart settings for this symbol. Again, I will do a walkthrough of all these settings after I have finished with all the chart items. Besides the settings menu behind the ellipsis, there is also a menu when you do a right click on the symbol. This opens other options for showing or hiding information about the symbol on the screen. For example, you can now see that everything has turned on and this information is visible on the chart here. But we can also choose to hide this information and make the screen less cluttered with information. So to begin with the first option, this shows or hides the symbol title, and now it's visible, but when I click on it, it's completely gone. But if you click right on one of the values again, then you can show the symbol name again. Now there is also a situation where you could have disabled all these values and have nothing to click on. And how on earth do you get the symbol back again if we cannot click on anything? Now for that we have to go to the chart settings to the right, and then choose status line and click on title. And then the title for the symbol will appear again. Click OK to save settings and exit the menu, and voila, the name is back again. So in this situation all the values are visible again. We can see the symbol title, open market status, open high, low and close values, the bar change values and volumes, the last day change values, also the show buy and sell buttons, indicator titles, indicator arguments and the indicator values. Now let me disable each option and let me show you what happens in the symbol bar. And you can see now that all this information is gone because I deselected all these values. Now let me enable all these values again and continue. Here the open market status adds a small colored icon behind the name of the symbol, and it indicates if the market of the pair you're looking at is currently open or not. In this case the market for trading is open because crypto is a 24/7 market, but if I quickly open another symbol that is currently not traded, then you can see that the indicator shows that the market is closed for trading. And opening an index, for example, shows a small symbol that indicates the market is open but data is delayed. And this market is open for trading. It could also be that when a symbol is about to get traded, it shows the pre-market status, here with this sunrise tool. And if you click on it, you can also get additional information about the current status. So all very helpful information here. Oh, and by the way, you can also see the status of the market in the watch list and the settings for the symbol at the right side of the screen. But let's get back to the symbol information on the main chart. The open, high, low and close values here show the values of the candle you are hovering over with your mouse as you go over the chart. The bar change next to it shows the change of difference between the candle you currently selected or hovering over and the candle before that. And the volume selector also adds the traded volume of that candle to the information row. The last day change value shows a permanent status of the difference between the actual current day and yesterday. So with this you always have the absolute and percentual differences in price of today and yesterday. The show buy and sell buttons menu option does exactly what it says. They show the buy and sell buttons. But these buy and sell buttons only work if you have connected TradingView to a broker or to your paper trading account. If you select or deselect the indicator titles, then you see that this switches the names of the additional indicators on your chart off and on again. And this next item on the menu, the indicator arguments, show the settings you configured for the indicator. Sometimes there are a few, but other indicators with loads of arguments can fill up a complete line with argument numbers. And the final option, the indicator values, show the actual value of the indicator on that specific candle. So here you see the values for the volume and the SMA of the candle I hover over. The indicators you see on the right now also have similar configuration items in their menu. With this small arrow you can close and open this list of used indicators, so this makes the screen less cluttered. Each indicator has a plethora of menu options. Let's first begin with the eye in the menu. This eye is a switch between showing or hiding the indicator on the screen. And the small cog here opens the settings menu for the given indicator. And here you can also adjust the arguments of the indicator for use on the screen. And you can determine the style of the indicator like colors, labels, graph types and more over here on this option. And the third option here determines the visibility on the screen. Here the indicator has been set to be shown on all the time frames I use. But if I disable some of these time frames, then the indicator will not be shown if I open the chart on these specific time frames, because the eye is orange in this case. The cross in this row can be used to remove the indicator from the screen. Now if I click on the 3 dots or ellipses, then another long menu appears. Clicking on the alert gives me the option to set an alert on the indicator, and the second option in this menu is the add indicator strategy on volume. With this option you can use another indicator that uses the values of the volume indicator, so an indicator of an indicator. This is something that might not be used by a lot of people, but it could actually be very interesting to experiment with, especially if you create trading strategies that depend on this information. Now you can see the moving average line on the volume, and we can now immediately see that the average volume of Bitcoin trading goes down. This next menu item is the remove this indicator from favorites. This option effectively removes the indicator from the favorites list you might have built over time. So be careful using this option, or else you might find yourself wondering where that one favorite indicator went if you wanted to use it. Next is the visual order. This determines if an indicator will be shown in front of another indicator, or if you want an indicator to move to the back. The visibilities on all intervals makes you determine if you want to see this indicator on all the time frames you use. Here I have it on all the intervals. The next menu item is the move to new pane above or below, and this takes the indicator and adds it to another pane in the screen. And if I want to put it on the main pane again, then I can move to existing pane below. In some rare cases, this does not show the indicator back to the screen as expected, but this gives me the possibility to show another option that you can use if you made an error or you experience these kinds of troubles. For example, you can use Ctrl+Z to go back to the previous state, and if I do this a couple of times, then I get my original setup again. With the pin to scale option, I can determine which scale the indicator makes use of. The next two items in the indicator menu are the About This Script and Source Code. If I select About This Script and it has been written by a member of the community, then the description made by the author will be opened. And if I open source code, then the Pine script editor will open and you can see the code that makes up this indicator. Let's collapse this panel and move to the next option in the list. The next two items speak for themselves. One hides the indicators on the chart and the other one removes it completely. And after removal, you will have to search for it again in the indicators menu and add it. The object tree opens the right side panel with all the objects that are used on the chart. The data window menu option opens the same side panel, but this time in the data window screen. I already discussed both of these screens, so let's continue with the last menu option. And that is the opening of the settings menu of the indicator. Now this is the same menu function like the small cog between the eye and the cross. I will open the configuration menu for the given indicator, and this menu can be completely different for each indicator you use. The only items that will come back every time are the tabs Input, Style and Visibility of the indicators on specific time frames. If you have configured a certain indicator to your own preferences, like different input settings, colors, visibilities and other time intervals, then you can save these settings for later use if you want to reuse the indicator. You can also reset the settings to the defaults that are programmed in the Pine code, just in case you think your adjustments are faulty and want to start over again. I can also right click on the indicator and then the exact same menu appears as when I right clicked on the status line. You can determine here which information you want to see about the indicators on the screen. I can also hide or show the legends with all the open indicators in one click with this small arrow. And this is pretty much everything you can do with the symbols and indicators here. Above this scale there is an option where you can set your preferred currency. For example, now in this scale it is in dollars, but I can also set this in euros if I want, or even in crypto pairs. Now this does not change the symbol into Bitcoin Ethereum, but it's more a quick way of quickly answering the question, what is the Bitcoin Ethereum price again? This way you can quickly look it up, and after you're done you can switch back to the main pair again. So let's set this back to US dollar and continue. Below here there is a small cog where more settings can be reached, and clicking on this cog also has the same effect as if you clicked with the right mouse button on the scale. It opens up a new menu with different options to set up for the scale, like resetting the price scale if you clicked and dragged it and it changed its scale, and you can also auto fit the data to the screen here, and this log price to bar ratio enables some form of zoom function that you can use. So if you change the scale, the candle size also automatically adjust themselves. And then there is the scale price chart only option. And another interesting feature here is the invert scale option. Clicking this option puts the chart upside down. We then come to the scale types. At the moment we are looking at the regular scale, but the scale can also be adjusted to be a percentage based scale or an index scale to 100 points. which is actually very similar to the percentage-based scale. And finally, we can change the scale to be logarithmic. And this scale is also many times used by people that analyze the Bitcoin price information over long time frames. You might recognize this form from other YouTube videos. Now, let's turn the scale back again to regular and continue with the next option in this menu. And that is the move the scale to left. And it does exactly what it says. It moves the scale to the left. So let me switch back to right again. And down here are some label options. These additional labels will add the price labels on the scale that give you more insight on the current market prices. So let's find out what they do. The symbol name literally adds the symbol or pair names to the screen. And this label is automatically attached to the current price line on the chart. Last price label shows the latest price on the price scale. The previous day close price label shows the close price of the previous day and is only visible on time frames lower than the daily time frame. To show you the pre and post price labels, I have to open the Tesla stock again, and the high and low price labels show the highest price and the lowest price that are visible on the chart. So every time you change the chart layout, the highest and lowest price also change. The bid and ask labels tells you where the sellers have their ask price and the buyers have their bid price. And this will show the labels of the names of the indicators and other financials that you have added on the chart. For example, now there are no additional indicators, but if I add a moving average to the chart, the price label of the latest MA price is also visible on the scale. And finally, I can add the labels with the values of the indicators and other financials that are used on the chart. The lines menu will add the lines to the corresponding labels on the chart. The price line is already visible, so let me add all other lines to this chart too. The previous day chart close price and line, and the pre and post market price line. Now let me show you also the high and low price line and the bid and ask price lines. At this moment, all these labels are neatly visible above each other because I've set the no overlapping labels. But if I disable this, then they will get less visible and stacked above each other. Let me clear all this stuff up again and proceed with the next menu option. And these are the countdown and plus button options. The countdown to bar close is a timer that shows how much time is left before the bar is closed. This can be helpful for those traders that want to make a trade on the last second of the bar. Now the plus button is not immediately visible if you enable this, and it's also quite small and you have to know where to look. If I enable this, then you will see a small plus icon appear next to the price label, but only if your mouse is on the candlestick chart. This plus icon hides another menu with some trading functionalities, which I will demonstrate in depth another time. But you can see that with this plus button you can add an alert, buy or sell the current symbol, or draw a horizontal line at this price. Then we find another settings wheel, and this brings us again to the chart menu that we'll explore later. Finally, we come across the last two buttons, or actually switches, on the price scale. Now these are only currently visible if your mouse cursor hovers over the price scale. The A resets the screen to make the candlestick neatly fit to your screen again, and the button to set the chart in logarithmic mode. And finally another settings wheel, and in this case it opens the same scale menu we just explored. Now there are only two bars left on the screen to discover, and these are the lower time scale of the chart and what I call the date range interval bar. The time scale bar changes its resolution to the chosen interval. So the 5-minute interval shows bars of each 5 minutes, 1 hour shows bars that represent 1 hour of trading, and so on. The time scale will adjust so that it fits the bar, as you can see. If I right click on the time scale, then I have only few options. Reset the scale if I had manually adjusted it, the time zone used, and showing session breaks in case of trading assets that only trade during weekdays. There's also a submenu option here, and there you can choose to show regular trading hours or extended trading hours. On the date range interval bar, you can adjust the chart interval and the time zone. If you hover above the option with your mouse, then you will see the view that the button will provide you. For example, here 1 day in 1 minute intervals, 5 days in 5 minute intervals, up until the complete dataset in 1 month intervals in this case. You can also go to a certain date on the chart directly by clicking on the calendar or Go To icon. Now enter a date and then click Go To, and the chart will open with a flag on the candle for that specific date. You can also choose to open a certain date range on the chart, and for that you'll have to select the start and end date and click Go To. And the chart will open with that specific date range. Now let me reset the screen with Alt-R to get the default layout again, and then go to the last option of this bar. If the bar opens on the default UTC time zone and you want to adjust it to your own time zone, you can click on the right clock here to set the time zone you want to use. So now that we have explored all the sidebars on the screen, let's finish this walkthrough by checking out the main chart menu options and the chart settings we came across a couple of times earlier. To get to the main chart menu, we can right-click the mouse button somewhere in the chart itself. When the menu appears, we find the options that belong to this main chart pane. And you already might notice some familiar settings, so let's go over these quickly. The first option resets the chart view. So if you have adjusted the scale or the date and everything looks whacked, then you can reset this here to get the main layout back. The second option here is the copying of the price, and using the paste option still does not work because the clipboard API is not supported in my case, but with Ctrl V I can paste the value somewhere on the chart. The next setting is yet another way of creating an alarm on the chart, and then there is the trade menu again, where you can buy, sell or create a new order. Or you can open the settings menu on the trade window with this small cog icon. This following menu setting is also something we have seen before. Here we can add a symbol to an already existing watch list, or we can create a whole new watch list if we haven't done so already. And this option adds a note to the current symbol here. This next option is a new one, and specific for this chart. It locks the vertical cursor line by time. When you set this, you will see a small lock on the bar you selected when you set the lock. And after that, you can slide the window left and right, and the label of that selected candle will be permanently shown. I can imagine that this could be a nice feature if you selected a lower time frame candle and then move to higher or lower time frames, or try different studies without losing track of that selected candle. Then we have the Object Tree item pane again if we click on this menu. And this next option in the menu will give you the ability to change color themes if you have created your own preferred color scheme. And I will show you later how you can create new color themes. The next two options give you the ability to remove all drawings or all indicators with one click, just like the recycle bin icon in the left bar below. And finally, I will open the chart settings. You already know that you can access these chart settings through multiple different menus. But I will open the chart settings from this top bar and then walk you through all the settings there are. Some settings are pretty self-explanatory within these menus, but let's go over them anyway. Let's start from the top here and open the symbol options first. With these symbol settings you can change the way the candles look on your screen. With this first option you can determine if the colors on the bars are based on the previous close or not. Now I have to admit that I have a slight problem with this setting because I do not see any difference between switching this setting on or off. Normally I can find many explanations in the help setting as well, but about this option in this case there's not much information about the setting. However, there are people that experience issues by having lower closed candles which are still green, like the given example here. So I guess that when the option is not activated, you can experience this behavior. Luckily, changing the colors of the candles is much more easy to see. These are the default candlestick colors: green for candles that close higher than the previous candle, and red for those that close lower than the previous candle. The precision option changes the way the open, high, low and close candlestick values are shown in the status line behind the symbol. The default setting is dependent on the symbol price, but you can also change this to show only an integer, show more or less decimals behind the dot or comma, or show fractions as the OHLC values. And the time zone option gives you again the ability to change the time zone of the chart. All the options in the status line have influence on the way the information is shown on the status line of the symbol top left. We already walked through all of these options, but let me switch them off and on again in the meantime to show you what happens. The next section in the chart settings are the scales and lines. Here we have the option to influence how the information on the currency and unit looks like. And notice this here in the top right of the scale because it's hardly visible. And I will change this off and on again to show you the difference. Also, we can determine here the visibility type of the scale modes, auto fit and logarithmic buttons. The log price to bar ratio is the same as the option in the menu when we right clicked on the scale. It creates some sort of zoom function when we change the scale. Then we come across three other familiar options. The first one determines if the labels on the price scale may overlap each other. The plus button adds a menu to the price line for creating buy and sell orders on the exchange and more. And the countdown to bar close adds a timer that shows how much time there is left before a candle closes. Furthermore, there are options to show additional information on the price scale, like the name, value and the line of the symbol, together with the formatting options for the line that is used, like the color and width of the line. And we can also add additional information to the price line with this next price and percentage option, but only if you activated the line value option above. Then there are a couple of options to show or hide the previous day close, indicators and financials, pre- and post-market information, highs and lows and bid and asks, together with the values of these items and also the formatting options. So with these settings you can completely customize the way all these prices and ranges look on the chart. The last option in this menu item is the visibility of the day of week on the labels, the way the date looks and the format of the time of the chart. in 24-hour format or AM/PM format. You can also go completely wild on the formatting of the canvas itself for a fully customized experience. You can choose for a solid background of your choice, or if you want to give it a gradient between two colors. You can choose if and which grid lines you want to see on the screen and the way they will look on the screen. You can also format the crosshair within this menu, and if you want to have a watermark on the background, you can choose it here as well. And the watermark is here the name of the current open symbol. Then there is also an option to change the format of the text on the scales and the colors and visibility of the lines here. And with this option you can determine the visibility of the navigation buttons on the chart, and also this option the visibility of the pane. And finally you can also set the margins of the chart. Setting these margins is not directly visible, but these margin settings will be used if you reset the chart to the default values with Alt+R. Now to me this looks like a pretty well thought out theme with a high usability. Now let's continue with the trading settings on the chart. It's evident that these settings will influence the way trades are shown on the chart. For now I will activate them all, but I cannot directly show all their effects at the moment. I will demonstrate in a later video how to do actual trading or paper trading with the TradingView platform, and you will then see what the effect is of some of these settings. For now let me activate the visibility of the buy and sell buttons. The instant order placements make these buttons a little bit larger so that you know that the instant order is activated. I will activate a play sound when the trades are executed, and I will leave all event notifications on. I will also activate the visibility of positions, orders and the brackets that show profit and loss. Next activate the executions and execution labels, the extended price line and the visibility of the orders execution and positions on the screenshots too. And finally I will activate the visibility of events on the chart. Let me also activate the latest news and mines. It will show a small lightning icon which will give me the access to latest news and the mines directly from the chart. And I will also activate all other options here to show you what they do. The ideas option will add small orange and red circles on the chart that give access to the ideas of other people within the community that were posted at that candle time. But you can also limit these to your own ideas here. The next option here adds icons that give access to economic events, and these can be also filtered to show only future events or also past events as well. The event break adds a line on the chart on the candle where that event happened. And I can also activate news notifications that will show up on the screen when there is a news notification. And finally we have the option to determine the format of the alert lines of the alerts you configured with the alert option. For example, when the price crosses above or below a moving average. And also the possibility to only show active alerts or all the alerts too. Now we can leave the chart as it is because it looks super beautiful and ergonomic for use for trading. But we also risk lose this layout if we open the TradingView on another browser or open another layout or switch from the dark to the white theme and vice versa. So what we can do now is save this layout for later usage. Open the chart settings again, and this time I will do it by right clicking on the main chart, and below left there is another option called template. Now we can save this layout with a specific name, or if we are not happy with the current layout we can apply the defaults and start from scratch again. You also see here that I also have saved some other layouts, and you can also see that after each theme name there is a small cross, and clicking on that cross deletes the corresponding layout, so be careful where you click here. Now this is my black and white layout, and you can see that it changed a lot of colors and other format settings, but not all settings are disabled or changed, like the news and events, ideas, mentions and alarms. So it's clear that not all settings are reset when you switch between custom layouts. If I change to the default dark or light mode in TradingView, then it's possible that you also can remove your theme settings. So if I open my cool layout and switch to dark mode here, then I get a warning that my cool layout can be overwritten. I can choose for this because I saved it as a template, but if you didn't save your template and chose yes, then you still can try Ctrl+Z to revert back. And with this last option, this brings me to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and have learned some new things about the TradingView platform and its functionalities. In future videos I will dive deeper into some of the configuration and usage of specific functions, like configuring the trading panel and actual paper, or maybe even live trading, explanation of all the drawing tools and more features and functions this great platform has to offer. If you're enthusiastic about the platform but haven't got a subscription yet, then use my affiliate link to get a reward of $15 whenever you purchase a subscription through my link. There are also other ways to support me, for example by becoming a patron, but you can also click the like button and give a comment on what I should explore in the future on the TradingView platform. This is it for me now, and I will see you in the next video. Good luck trading, and until the next time. Goodbye!